Ever wonder why some people seem to get their way more often than not? It's not magic or sheer luck. It's something we all use, knowingly or unknowingly, every day: persuasion. Now, before you raise an eyebrow, let's clarify. Persuasion isn't about tricking people or manipulating situations. It's about understanding, empathizing, and helping people see things from a different perspective. Think of it as a key that can unlock doors to improved personal and professional relationships, to conflict resolution, and yes, to success. But it's a key that needs to be used wisely and responsibly. At its core, persuasion is about finding mutually beneficial outcomes, where everyone walks away feeling satisfied. It's about creating win-win situations. So, if you've ever found yourself wishing you had a bit more sway in conversations, or if you've ever wished to possess this superpower, you're in the right place. Let me tell you a story about a woman named Susan, a savvy salesperson with a knack for persuasion. Once upon a time, in the world of sales, there was a formidable client named Mr. Roberts. He was known in the industry for his sharp intellect and uncompromising nature. Many had tried to win him over, but to no avail. Enter Susan, an unassuming salesperson with a secret weapon: her exceptional persuasion skills. Susan didn't start with a sales pitch. Instead, she started with a conversation. She wanted to understand Mr. Roberts, not just as a client, but as a person. She asked about his business, his challenges, and his aspirations. She listened, really listened to what he had to say. She wasn't just collecting information. She was building a relationship, a connection. Now, Susan was not just a good listener, she was also a master of empathy. She put herself in Mr. Roberts' shoes. She felt his frustrations, shared his dreams. She understood that his tough exterior was a shield against the world, a defense against those who didn't take the time to understand his needs. With her insights, Susan crafted a proposal that addressed Mr. Roberts' needs and aligned with his aspirations. She didn't just present a product, she presented a solution. She didn't just talk about features, she talked about benefits. She showed Mr. Roberts how her proposal would help his business thrive, how it would bring him closer to his dreams. And then came the moment of truth. Susan made her pitch. She looked Mr. Roberts in the eye and said, "I believe this is what you need. I believe this will help you reach your dreams. What do you say, Mr. Roberts?" And Mr. Roberts, the tough, uncompromising client, looked at Susan, the savvy salesperson with a knack for persuasion, and said, "I say yes, Susan. I say yes." And just like that, Susan turned a hard no into a resounding yes. Sounds like magic, doesn't it? So, what's the secret sauce? What made Susan so successful in her persuasion? Well, let's unpack that. You see, persuasion is like baking a cake. It consists of several key ingredients that, when mixed together, create something irresistible. First up, we have empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. It's like the flour in our persuasion cake. It forms the basis of everything. In Susan's case, she didn't just think about what she wanted. She considered the needs and feelings of her colleagues. This helped her to connect with them on a deeper level, making her arguments more compelling. Think about it. Wouldn't you be more inclined to help someone who truly understands you? Next, we have active listening. Active listening is the yeast that makes our persuasion cake rise. It's not just about hearing what the other person is saying, but understanding their words, their tone, and their underlying emotions. Susan didn't just talk, she listened. She paid attention to her colleagues' concerns and addressed them in her arguments. Then we have the concept of mutual benefits, the sugar in our persuasion cake, making it sweet and appealing. Susan didn't just push her own agenda, she showed her colleagues how they could benefit from her proposal. Remember, people are more likely to be persuaded if they can see what's in it for them. Finally, we have influence, the icing on our persuasion cake. Influence is the ability to have an effect on the character, development, or behavior of someone. Susan, with her empathetic approach, active listening, and focus on mutual benefits, was able to influence her colleagues' decisions. These are the key elements of persuasion: empathy, active listening, mutual benefits, and influence. By mastering these, you too can bake a tasty persuasion cake. Remember, persuasion isn't about winning an argument, it's about finding a win-win solution. Now that we know what it takes, how can we master this art of persuasion? Persuasion isn't just a switch that you flip. It's a skill that you develop over time. It's like learning to play the piano or mastering a new language. But don't worry, there's no need to dust off that old Rosetta Stone just yet. Let's start with active listening. This means not just hearing the words someone is saying, but truly understanding their meaning. It's about putting yourself in their shoes, empathizing with their perspective. This is not just polite. It also helps you to understand their needs and wants. Next, show empathy. When you can demonstrate that you understand and share someone else's feelings, you build a bridge of trust. This connection is key to persuasion. Then there's credibility. No one is going to be persuaded by someone they don't trust or respect. So build your credibility, be consistent, be reliable, and be knowledgeable. Remember, your credibility is like a bank account. Every time you keep your word, you make a deposit. Every time you break it, you make a withdrawal. Lastly, focus on mutual benefits. Persuasion isn't about winning at the expense of others. It's about finding a solution that benefits everyone involved. It's about creating a win-win situation. With practice and patience, anyone can become a master persuader. It's all about finding the common ground and creating a win-win situation. So, why bother learning about persuasion? What's in it for you? Well, let's put it this way. Mastering persuasion can take your relationships from good to great. It's like adding a turbo boost to your professional endeavors. It's the secret ingredient that can tip the scales in your favor, leading to overall personal growth. It's like knowing the cheat codes to a video game. In the end, mastering the art of persuasion opens doors to a world of opportunities. It's not just a skill, it's a game changer. So, are you ready to learn this superpower?